Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Bennett Tchaikovsky, the accounting professor. Welcome to Work Experience Requirements. My supervisors are inactive CPAs. I'm looking to get licensed. What can I do? So my disclaimer and copyright notice, the information and opinions in this presentation are those of the author only and not the author's employers or affiliated organizations, including but not limited to Irvine Valley College, the South Orange County Community College District, California State University at Fullerton, or the California Board of Accountancy. I am a member of the California Board of Accountancy, but this is not their opinions. This is my opinion and to help you better understand things. So the presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute any legal or accounting advice whatsoever. This presentation is copyright 2008 to 2022 by Bennett Tchaikovsky. All rights are reserved. Any distribution is strictly prohibited. Note that this presentation is focused on the California Board of Accountancy's rules and regulations. Every state will have their own licensing policies and procedures. But if you've got a question about a specific state and you want me to check it out, I'd be more than happy to do so. It's always fun. Okay, got a great question. One of my subscribers, I got a comment on one of my videos that said, I just recently thought about taking the CPA exam and found out that my supervisor and those in my department are inactive. I'm not sure what to do about that. I've been with my company for over blank years. So let's first kind of talk about the job market. I have never seen it like this since I've started in public accounting. And let's also talk why, as an employee, if you're watching this, or if you're an employer, this is what you need to think about it. If you're going to hire somebody new, you're going to pay a 30% full-time recruitment fee. You're going to also, if you go over here, if you go to an employment agency, it's going to be 100% markup. You can use LinkedIn, but I can promise you that trying to keep your employees happy instead of their knowledge that's going to be leaving out the door with them is something that you would rather keep your employee there and happy. Also, too, as an employer, if you are an active CPA, offering a sign-off on the general experience in California is a huge deal. We need more CPAs. I know we do in California, and if you can help out someone who become a CPA by signing off on their general experience, right? We're not talking about auditing experience. We're talking about general experience. You're going to be helping out the profession. Okay. Why do you want to become a CPA? Okay. If you're looking at somebody with 10 years of work experience in accounting versus a CPA with 3 years of work experience, who gets hired? And what the answer to this is it's usually going to be the CPA. As a CPA, if I do something evil, right, not only am I going to get fired, but I'm going to lose my CPA license, and I do not want to lose that license. I'm also an attorney, don't really care about that as much. I do care about my CPA license, and I don't want to lose it. I spent way too much time in my life studying for that exam and everything else. So all I can tell you is that when you're going through and you want to be a CPA, and it's just over time, your work experience will not be recognized without the CPA license. I have several students in my class who have been working in accounting for over 20 years. They have an MBA, but basically, unless they get that CPA license, their career opportunities are going to be limited, especially in terms of mobility. I have seen people make $150,000 a year with a firm. If they left, they'd be making about 70 because they're not CPAs. So again, this is why you want to do it. Now, if you can't become a CPA, what's another really quick one is going to be an enrolled agent. That's going to give you the ability to sign off on tax returns. There's no educational requirement, but it's also a very, very good option. Okay, let's talk about the license statuses. So if I go to the California Board of Accountancy, when you look up somebody's license, you're going to see a couple of different designations. The first one is clear. No, this is not a steroid cream, but rather this is essentially indicating that as a licensee, I have completed the continuing education, I've paid the fee, And there you go. I can practice in public accountancy, right? And there's going to be different ways I can practice. It's going to depend if I have a G or an A behind my license. Inactive, and this is really where the heart of this is going to today. I have chosen not to complete the continuing education, but I still have to pay an annual fee. I don't believe it's as much in California as the active fee. Now, here's where you got a problem here is delinquent. Okay, the license was not renewed by its expiration date and has expired. The individual does not have the authority to practice public accountancy. Cancel, the license is canceled if not renewed within 5 years following its expiration date. A licensee with a canceled license may reapply as a new applicant and basically meet the current requirements for approval. Upon approval, a new CPA license number is issued. So I've had friends of mine who have been canceled, at least in California, and to get relicensed, it's not that bad. It's going to take time, but it's not going to be that bad. So again, if you're in one of these spots, just kind of something you really want to be at the clear, but obviously inactive is going to be better than delinquent or canceled. Okay, why should we keep our CPA license active? Okay, we have all suffered, right? I just gave an exam in intermediate accounting, and if you're taking intermediate accounting or these other courses that are insanely hard compared and difficult compared to other business type classes, you want to let your license lapse. How much time did you spend studying for the CPA exam? And you spent a year. I spent 2 years working at Coopers and Lybrand, now PwC. I'm never going to get those years back. You spent that time, right? And the other thing I'm going to share with you is that this is CPE Depot. I actually just sent them an email and said to them, it's like, hey, I would love to promote your site. And why do I want to promote their site? It's because I have gotten most of my continuing education here for at least the last 10 years. They have a great setup. It's very, they make getting your continuing professional education, it's very seamless. You got to spend time, but the courses are very, very well designed. So this is a great place to go and get it. It's very, very reasonable. Let me see here. Let's see what their membership costs right now are. So here you go. You've got a self-study membership, you've got all access and basically any course on the website. And then you can basically buy the ethics membership. If you have to get a regulatory class in, that's also something you can actually go through and do too. But it is a absolutely great site. So, and after you do it, you'll get a certification for every course that you've gone through and taken. Again, this is a very, very effective way to get continuing professional education. And I'm sure that some people that we might know wish they would have used CPE Depot. So here you got KPMG audit partners are settle test cheating scandals. So even people within public accounting are just doing this with continuing education. So I would really share with you that obviously a lot of, don't do it the illegal way, do it the right way. Go and find a continuing education that fits your budget. This again is a great one. Obviously, doing something in person where you can actually go through and meet with people and get your continuing professional education, that's a great way to go through and do it too. But if you're going through and using one of these, basically this type of website, you can get all your education knocked out of the way, and then you can kind of go through and use those other events you're going to in person for that. So again, CPE Depot, great way to do it. They are not paying me to do this, but I've used them for over 10 years. Great way to get your continuing education. Okay. Now, how do we go through and convert an inactive CPA, an active to an active CPA license? At least this is what we do in California. Okay, so going from an inactive to an active CPA license, where am I getting all this information from? And I will basically post this link in the down below, along with the CPE Depot link. This is really what we're doing. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So Pursuant to the California Code of Regulations, if you're inactive, you can convert it to active by completing a total of 80 hours of continuing education during the 24-month period prior to converting. Now, 20 hours must be completed in the 1-year period immediately preceding license conversion, including 12 hours in a technical subject matter. You need to have 4 hours of ethics education, a 2-hour board-approved regulatory review course if it has been more than 6 years that have elapsed since the licensee last completed it. Now, these requirements here, from what I'm reading, this is pretty much applicable to all CPA licenses. So if you have somebody who's kind of working in the corporate world, it's going to take them a little bit of time, but it's not that bad. I would rather be sitting in a room I'd rather spend the time going through and doing continuing education than 10 years of experience walking out of my door because they're unwilling to sign off on my work experience. Now, this work gets a little bit more technical. Okay, these are not required, but if you look through this, so 24 hours of governmental accounting and auditing if during the 24 months prior to converting an active license, the licensee engaged in the planning, directing, or conducting portions for financial or compliance audits. So if you were just a regular, like me, just have your CPA license working in corporate America, not that big of a deal. But if you're signing off on governmental auditing reports, if you're signing off on an audit review or compilation, very different. You're going to have to do some extra work. But most of the time, most of these individuals who are doing this, you would kind of keep that. Over here, 8 hours of 24, if during the 24 months prior to converting to an active status, the licensee performed a preparation engagement at his or her highest level of service while in the practice of public accountancy. So again, most of the time, the people that are going to be going from inactive to active, it's just doing this. But if you were doing special type of work as a CPA while you were active, and then when inactive, then that's a little bit different. Okay, over here, if you're a sole proprietor, you must complete report your peer review information. This again is if you're going through and actively practicing public accounting. Now, here we go with the fingerprint requirement, right? So I got fingerprinted, I believe, when I was originally getting licensed in '93. And then I want to say it was probably at least 4 or 5 years ago, probably even longer. You have to go through and basically get yourself electronically fingerprinted. You get to go down to the police station. I can make a joke about that, but we're talking about accounting, so I won't. But essentially, I think probably was actually in 2016. If you renewed your license in an active status after January 14, you may have more than likely met this fingerprint requirement because we as CPAs were required to go through and submit electronic fingerprints. Okay, so that's what it is for today. I want to kind of circle back really quickly. So if your employer is an inactive CPA, I would really encourage them to become active. It's not that bad. And if you want me to talk to them, I'm more than happy to do it. And I can kind of sniff things out, but if that helps you become active. I've done actually as an instructor, I've done some pretty crazy stuff. One of my students said, "Oh, I want to get into USC." As one of my students from Irvine Valley, "Will you call the counselor?" I said, "Sure, it's kind of fun." So I called that counselor from USC, and it's like, "Oh, well, my student was involved in extracurricular activities." And she said to me, "It's about the grades, Bennett." "Oh, but they have no, Bennett, it's about the grades and about the classes that they've taken." "Well, what if my student can throw a football like 100 yards? We'll go talk to the football coach." So in any event, if you want me to help you out, I'm more than happy to do so. This is a great question, and I want to thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at 1812cpa@gmail.com, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day.